What's up, y'all? It's Sports Kid here with my 2023 Michigan Wolverines season predictions. These guys are back-to-back Big Ten champions and can absolutely do it again. Let's talk about them. So last year, Michigan made it to the playoffs, back-to-back years in the playoffs. They had their only loss in the playoffs to TCU for a record of 13-1. This year, the over-under for wins is 10.5, so odds makers are saying a slight decline, still a 10-win season at least. Lots of returning players on this team, 8 on offense and 7 on defense. 9 players from the squad were drafted last year. That is an insane number, and for them to be able to still play very well might be difficult, as we do see the over-under drop just a little bit. The recruiting for Michigan has been very good. 11 4-star commits went to Ann Arbor, as well as 13 3-stars and 1 2-star, but is a kicker. Kickers are never rated highly enough. Their top 2 players were Inau Eda. Hopefully I got that right. He is from Colleyville, Texas. Plays on the defensive line and is just outside the top 100 players in the country. And then we also have Brandon Hillman, Brandon with a Y, Hillman. He is from Portsmouth. Wow, I can't even talk. Portsmouth, Virginia. He is an athlete, can play multiple positions, and he lies a little bit farther outside the top 100 at 130th, and is the 4th best player from the state of Virginia. The transfer portal was quite good this offseason. Brought in 6 4-stars and 3 3-stars, as well as 4 players that will be starters. I believe most of the players featured right here will be starters. Ladarius Henderson as an interior offensive lineman, transferring in from Arizona State. Drake Nugget from Stanford, another Pac-12 guy, transferring in. He plays interior offensive line as well. And AJ Barner plays tight end, transferring in from Indiana. I would do the same. I would transfer out of Indiana. Then also James Turner, kicker from Louisville, who's actually supposed to be really good. I think he's like, I don't know if he's missed a kick before from like within 40 yards. Pretty good kicker. My personal ratings for this team out of 10, offense is a 9.5. Very good. It should continue to be very good, as it has been for the past 2 years. And pretty much the same for the defense, also a 9.5. Very elite at many positions, and they should be very good on that side of the ball as well. Here we have the schedule. Schedule difficulty is not very high. It's a C. They do play Penn State and Ohio State. They scheduled an insanely easy out-of-conference. And then they also did get some easier schools to play out of the Big Ten West. We start off with East Carolina, who should be a big win for Michigan, as well as UNLV and Bowling Green. I'll just get those out of the way really quick. Those are all group of 5 schools, ECU in the American, UNLV in the Mountain West, and Bowling Green in the MAC. Next up, we get into Big 12 play. We have Rutgers, and they are also going to go in that big win category. Rutgers, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Maybe they'll be a little bit better, but they should be no match for Michigan. And it is in Ann Arbor at Michigan Stadium. Should be a blowout, and Michigan should be 4-0. Next, the Wolverines play the Cornhuskers on the road in Lincoln. I say that's going to be a close-ish win, as like within 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. Big win is like complete blowouts. But I think Nebraska could maybe keep it a little bit closer, especially on the road. Very good environment in Lincoln. But I do think that Michigan should still walk away from that game with a win and their 5th of the season. Minnesota is the next team on the schedule. This is their 6th game halfway through the season, and this should be another close win for Michigan. This is a pretty big rivalry. I forgot the name of the trophy. Pretty cool trophy. On the road, I don't think that really matters, and I still think Michigan is going to get another win here and stay undefeated. Back-to-back road games, I don't think that'll really trip them up unless there is some serious injuries at this point in the season. I think Michigan should get a pretty good win here against Minnesota. As a rivalry game, I think Minnesota could potentially keep it a little closer, but Michigan should totally win this game. Next, we have Indiana, who is fighting to be one of the worst schools one of the worst football programs in the Big Ten. I'm sure they're good at other things. They're just not good at football. Haven't been recently. 2020 weird season all around. They were good then. Haven't been since, and I don't think they will be this year. Next up, we have a bigger rivalry. Michigan and Michigan State is a pretty big deal. Another road game heading to... Oh man, I should totally know the name of the city. I'll probably remember it later, like 2 a.m. Anyway, Michigan State did win it 2 years ago. It was a blowout, I believe, last year. No, they didn't play last year. No, they did. I don't know why they wouldn't have played. They're in the same division. I'm looking at a piece of paper I have also. It was a pretty good win for Michigan last year. And I think, honestly, Michigan should win again. MSU's not looking to be great. They're 5-7 last year. Pretty rough season for them. Also, they're playing Michigan, one of the most elite teams in the country. So, actually, another road game for the Wolverines, and another win should be in the books. Next is Purdue, who's also fighting to be the worst team in the Big Ten. A home game for Michigan, making it even easier. Very big advantage for Michigan at home. They should just totally take care of Purdue. I think Purdue had like a ton of transfers out. They're not even trying this year, I don't think. We're down to the last 3 games, and probably the most difficult of the season. We have Penn State, who is going to be a toss-up. I don't know when the Penn State whiteout schedule is, but this very well could be a Penn State whiteout, facing a potentially undefeated Michigan. Penn State could be good. They feel like a 10-win team, but they kind of feel like a 10-win team most of the time, and we haven't really seen that. Maybe just too much preseason hype. Hopefully for PSU, they can figure out what they're doing and at least make this a competitive game. I'll probably watch this. Probably end up watching most of these games somehow, one way or another. But of the schedule so far that Michigan will have played, this will be the most difficult game. At this point in the season, they could have a lot of injuries, or maybe none at all. We'll have to see when we get there, but right now I'm still thinking a Michigan win, although this will be the closest game of the season. Next up, as the 11th game, we have Maryland on the road. Funny how all the close wins are on the road. Maryland on the road, not too crazy of an environment there. Maryland could be one of the top 3 teams in the Big Ten East, along with Michigan, depending on how their season goes. I do see Michigan just flat out winning this game. Really, Michigan's quite elite, and Maryland's not quite there yet. If they keep on this upward trend, they'll get there. Maryland needs a good win against either Michigan, Penn State, or Ohio State this year to solidify themselves as one of the best teams in the Big Ten East. But now they're just okay, and okay is not going to beat Michigan. finally, we have the game. Game's gonna be a toss-up, I'm gonna say. Ohio State, I don't know. Michigan's on a streak now. Streaks are not broken very often, and Michigan is on a 2-game streak against the Buckeyes. Honestly, I could see either team winning. It's a home game in Ann Arbor, so totally an advantage there. But this is absolutely the most difficult game of the schedule after this relatively calm Big Ten season. Really sort of a toss-up. Sort of depends on injuries again and how teams are doing, probably in the locker room as well, and also how they play in the field. That's the most important part. So, pretty good season it should be for Michigan with Jim Harbaugh in his 9th year. They should get wins pretty easily over all the teams in the top category, probably all the teams in the middle category, and at least one of these games in the toss-up category, for a projected record of 11-1. I'm not gonna say 12-0. The game could go either way. They could potentially lose to Penn State. They could potentially lose to one of the teams in the close win category. I think at worst 10-2, at best 12-0. That is really what I'm thinking for this year. If you're a Michigan fan and you agree or even disagree, let me know in the comments. How are y'all gonna do this season? I'm not a Michigan super fan, so if you know, then let me know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, peace.